they will be there, not even moving. And suddenly, the people you have labored to feed, to take care of, are the first to stab you. You know, there are seasons of contradiction. So, for the sons of the prophets, they were doing the cutting of their timber, their wood. Suddenly, the axe head flew off from the handle. And they knew the futility in trying to cut the wood without an axe head. And many people are just laboring, putting everything, their strength, their labor, whatever, but the axe head is off. Oh, Paul writing in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 26, he said, consider your calling. Give it a thoughtful consideration that not many mighty men, not many great men, not many intellectuals, not many nobles are so called. That God has chosen the weak things of this world, the things that are despised by men, in order to confound the wise. It is his choice to choose you. It is his prerogative. He is aware of your level of education. He is aware of your temperament. He is aware of the family that you came out from. He is aware of your shortfalls. He is aware of how the world rates you. But he chooses to choose you. That's very comforting to know. At all times in this journey, people will bring you down. You know, people will, say some nasty things about you, but it is good you understand. I am not in it by myself. He chose me. Put your hand on your chest. Say, I am chosen. I am chosen. That's wonderful. So when the challenge came, and they couldn't cut the wood, then there was this need to look up to this higher level. And they cried to Elijah and said, alas, master, it was borrowed. You know, they were not as much as concerned that they were not able to cut the wood. But their concern was, what do we tell the owner of the axe? So that's why you must be careful in borrowing. You know, people live borrowed lives, borrowed sanctuaries. You know, don't want to be who they are not. out. You know, in all these years, God has taught me to be who He has made me to be. I have had the privilege of preaching in most of the exalted altars, platforms in our country. I have friends, Pastor Adeboye, Pastor Ayo, Bishop Okongo, Bishop Oyedipo, Pastor Kumoye, great leaders that I respect so much. I have a relationship with all of them. And I appreciate the work they are doing. But I am mean. I'm mean. And understand this. You were called for a specific assignment.
Yes, amen. That's right.
Success in ministry is not the crowd. Good as the crowd is. It's not in numbers. It's not in cars and properties. Success in ministry is not in titles. You know, some people want to beef it up and, you know, carry whatever title. Success in ministry is not a title. The title does not do the work. It is the work you do that gives you what name or title you will be called. You know, so recognize who you are. God has value in you. He needed you. That's why He called you. Not underrate yourself. You know? So, the prophet came and said, okay, the asked her, is falling into the water? They said, yes. When he just got a little stick and he said, show me the point that it entered the water. Diligence is important in this work. Diligence is giving attention to details. If he was cutting and he didn't know the point that the axe head went into the water, he has greater problem. But you know, the prophet did not just put the stick in any point in the water. He said, show me the point. So he was not dancing naked. He knew where the axe head fell into the water and he pointed to it. And of course, the prophet did his job. You know, put the stick there. And amazingly, the axe head swam out.
Oh, yeah. Glory be to God.
Somebody shout hallelujah. So, at times, I wonder, so you just say, well, we are the new generation. We are the Joshua generation. You know, when I see them, I just sit down and watch, you know. Because you have large following and you post your Instagram or whatever, and you think, you know, many of them have brought bad name to ministry, you know, because they have no fathers. Dr. Ezekiel of blessed memory, a very good friend and leader, he said, it is where there are no leaders, no fathers. That's where people eat vulture and they think they are eating chicken. Some of the things happening are terrible. Some just get a little revelation and then they are running with it. You know, the grace message has been around. We all know it. And I don't want to warn you, be careful. Because nothing is sacred in this world. Whatever we preach here now, we go around the world, you know, and it's not everything that glitters that is gold. So know yourself. Know your boundaries. You cannot be me, and I cannot be you. But you can be the you of God's dream. He made you peculiarly and gave you a peculiar assignment. So success is said to be achieved when you achieve a certain goal in a prescribed manner and in a prescribed time. You know, there are order. God told Moses is that when you build the temple, see to it that you build it according to the pattern that is shown to you. There are patterns. There are established foundation for this work. Don't let anybody sing you out. You know, Peter was writing to his followers, his mentees. In 2 Peter chapter 1, you know, from around verse 5 to verse number 9, you know, he mentions some of these. You know, he was admonishing them about the things of the end time. That these things will come. False teachers, false prophets, false apostles. They are all over. Please be careful. At times you look at some of them, what they display, the enormous wealth they acquire, their followership. Then you begin to wonder, is there anything wrong with me? Why am I not You know, please, you have your race. So, I've listed 7 things I want you to reflect about in this meeting. I've dealt with number 1, consider your calling. Recognize that your calling is patented to you. You know. You must understand what God called you. Where did He call you to be? I've shared my testimony. All the places. I went to Christ for the Nations to study. At the time that this abroad thing was not as it is. You know, those days when we travel abroad, you go to school, not for work, you know. And graduating in Christ for the Nations in Dallas, a church, a local church, offered me a pastorate in Tyler, Texas. And I looked at the conditions. They were very right. Before I went to school, I was already pastoring. When I left the church, I left my wife, and I went to school. So, here I was in America. A church with members asked me to pastor them. A car was provided, a house was provided. I mean, at that time, I jumped for it. So, we were preparing to walk my wife to join me up in the US, and everything looked good. Oh, my fellow classmates, we graduated together. We were all celebrating that. Oh, that was a great thing to. I mean, there are people in America that try to start a church, couldn't have such a church. So, a night to the day I was to take up that job, I had an experience, an encounter that has remained with me and will remain with me all my life. I can only tell you a little bit of it. But in that encounter, I heard God call my name. And He said, Felix, have you decided to stay in America? Then I was shivering. And He asked me again. And I said, God, I thought it was a good idea. And that, in my opinion, I would earn $1 from America. And I'm going to still be supporting the work in Nigeria. So, you know, but at the end, He said, I know you are afraid, that when you get back home, you will not be careful. He said, am I God in America? I'm not God in Nigeria. And he said to me, I raise you up for your people in Nigeria. And he said, if you choose to stay here, you are on your own. You know, that was a terrible, very frightening thing. So I woke up shivering, and a lady one day I called the church and I said I was going back home. Is it because with the salary? I said, it has something to do with salary. I'm going back home. You know, my friends persuaded me, this thing you're leaving behind is what many of them are seeking for. You know, but I'm going back home. So I went back to Nigeria. It's been close to about 40 something, 30, almost 40 years now since that incident. I can look back today and thank God that I obeyed him. You know, in that my decision to go back and obey God, it has given birth to many, many children, who some of you are. You know, in that decision, is the church, the churches, the schools, primary, secondary, and university that we're trying to pull up. In that decision, I never knew I would be the president of all the Pentecostals in Nigeria, which position I had for 8 years, and led the church, the Pentecostal church in Nigeria for 8 years. In that decision, now if you give me even a larger auditorium anywhere in the world today, I don't know, that's a demotion. It's a demotion. I know many of you did so much to come to Europe and the United Kingdom and went through the sea. I can understand the issue, but you must find where God plants you. It is important because your allocation is when you find your divine location. So consider your calling. That's number one, is very vital. Give it top priority in your life. The second thing I want you to take note, I just put this together, not in particular order, but just to help you. Be prepared to pay necessary prices. You know, many young people don't want to pay prices. You want to cut corners. You know, any house that has no door, no gate, no key, Anybody can go in and go out. That's nothing useful. The way of least resistance leads to nowhere. Whether you are in the United Kingdom or Europe or in Africa or Asia, you want to accomplish your dream. Be ready to pay the price. There is a price tag. You know, many people don't want to, but there is a price tag attached to that dream. If you always read, God says, you will obey my voice indeed and do my commandment. Then I will do this, I will do that. There is a price tag. I've been wondering, one young man said that it's not a transactional God. I wonder, the gospel is transactional. Go read Deuteronomy 28. He said, if you will do this, you will do this, you will do this, then I will do this. Well, the Bible says, give, and it shall be given. You know what? It's more transactional. If thou can believe, then all things are possible. So please be willing and be ready to pay the necessary price. Don't follow people who are going away. No, please identify your destination. I know you live in a developed country. You want to go to any place, you punch some buttons, and a stranger that you don't know is telling you 100 meters to turn right. One of my children was driving me, and a lady was driving me. I said, you were straight to your wife. How you met this lady? You live in a developed world. My weddings are necessary, but beyond this, you must be focused. You must know who you are. You must know what God called you for. You must know what you want to achieve. Every sermon has a purpose. Every project has a purpose. Don't just jump into the boat because others are doing it. No. Know ye not that they which run in the race run. No practice for it. Those who are at the Olympic today, it's been a long journey. You practice for it. You prepare for it. You don't go to Olympic games with your pajamas. No, it's a different dress. The dress you wear to party, it's not the one you wear to when you get out there. So please, be prepared. Be prepared. Know who you are. Package yourself well. Have I so far pains. Yes. Somebody can tell you, you probably will not believe. I've had people disappointed me without number. Some I never thought will ever do it. They did. But they starved. You know. Paul encountered so many. He talked about his shipwreck. He talked about false brethren. He talks about so many things. In some measure, we've gone through it. I've had experiences that would have said, oh, let me take my wife, we're going to leave this place. I was very, very terrible. And I know from some pastors who are a bit of it and they left the country. They're in Europe or America. And you see them because they eat hamburger, this cheese, their jobs are private. Many of them are not in where God has asked them to be. So, you find yourself in this country. Money is not all that is in it. God had a hand. He had a purpose. He orchestrated some things about your life. You must sit down to appraise it and honor God and respect it and pay the necessary price in order to win. The third thing I'd like to share very briefly with you is to set your priorities right. You know? There is a priority highway for life. Jesus had visited Mary and Martha. And Martha, of course, was busy. It's normal when you have a very distinguished guest to entertain and fix things. So Martha went to the kitchen and was fixing food. And Mary sat at the feet of Christ, just listening to him. You know, apparently, Martha did what you normally would not do to a guest, even if you have some private issues. You know, she came to Jesus and said, Master, won't you tell my sister to join me? We are fixing dinner. You should come and join me. Why you should sit down there? You know, well, I'm laboring in the kitchen. You know, Jesus told Martha, say you are cumbered with so many things. Say, but one thing is important. You know, one thing is important. Paul said, this is one thing that I do. You know, it is that one thing that I'm trying to deal with. This is one thing that I do. It's my exercise. Every one thing that is for forgetting the things that are behind and reaching forth to the things that are before. One thing is important. The psalmist said, one thing have I desire of thee, that I may seek after. So there is this one thing. I discover your priority highway. You can't be everybody. You can't please everybody. There's no way. You can't please everybody, even as a pastor. I mean, one of the most difficult jobs in this world is pastoring. People don't know. People don't know. You don't have closing time. Your weekend is not free for it. The weekend that people rest is the most busiest one for you. You know, even at 9 when you go to bed, the phones are sometimes silly. It's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing. So, yet in the midst of it, you have to learn to find out what is important. What is important. Don't be a people pleaser. No. Attempt to please your God. And that will solve other things. I always tell my children, God comes first. In our lives, He takes the number one position. And it's undisputable. Of course, your family comes next before ministry. I don't know whether you get what I'm talking about. Yes, but some people neglect their family. Today you are not, tomorrow you are in Rome, next tomorrow you are in Lagos. Without respect for your family. Endeavor to pastor your family first before others. There are people who are public success, but private failures. May that not be your portion. Ministry is important. But not at the expense of your family. Wise women are supporters of their husband's ministry. Wise women stand with their husband to build the ministry. There are many women that God will hold accountable for the failures of their husband's ministry. Somehow, the affliction of that ministry gives affect the family, the entire family. Somehow, the congregation expects a higher standard from the pastor and his family. And at times, in most cases, the congregation is not fair. They don't think that the pastor is human. We You don't think he can be tired. No, he's a man of God. Always at the altar. He doesn't sleep. Please keep yourself, keep the order. Much as you want to win the world, much as you want to expand and have a breakthrough in ministry,